Mandos. This is the way. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mandalorian, the X-Wing Jesus. And today I'm going to be introducing a new series of shows called Mandos Sliced and Diced. And it's all about tabletop gaming. So that's wargaming, miniatures gaming, and what we've got today, which is board games. So I'm looking at Star Wars Talisman. So if you remember, I was around in the 80s. I remember the original Talisman. It was a lot of fun. And I saw this one come out and I thought, wow, that's really cool. That's going to be a lot of fun for me and my mates. Fortunately, got nobody around at the moment to play it with. So I'm unpacking it, getting things out and doing a show about it. So on first impressions, there is a lot in the box. So I believe you can pick Talisman up, preferably from your friendly local gaming store, for around about 60 quid if you get a good deal. I got a really good deal. So I paid about 60 quid. Because I was one of the first ones, I got a special promo pack that gave me an extra 4 cards. So I got a Battle Droid card, a Millennium Falcon card, Sith TIE Fighter card. Yeah, it is a Sith TIE Fighter. And a Zori Bliss card. So we'll talk more about cards in a minute. But to show how, what a good deal it is. You get 12 characters in the pack. This is the basic box. And for each character, you get a card, which is really good artwork, and you get a little miniature bust. And it is what that £60 is worth it for the busts alone, especially if you paint them up. So we'll go through them. So obviously we've got Luke. Not a particularly great bust of him, but on the dark side, so he's split into two. You've got light side and dark side. You've got Vader, big favourite for everyone. And you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is not a bad one. Then we have Darth Maul. And they've all got their lightsabers underneath their bust. So as you see there, you've got Darth Maul's staff across the bottom there. That's Mace Windu with his lightsaber on the bottom. You've got Count Dooku. I don't know how well this is coming out on there, whether you can see him that well or not. Ashoka Tano. Seventh Sister. And these are quite well detailed as well. They've got this is probably not my favourite one here, or my least favourite. That's Ezra Bridger, and that is looking quite a little bit ropey. I think that's the worst out of the bunch. We've got the Grand Inquisitor, obviously from Rebels, for those of you who haven't seen it, and Seventh Sister as well. We've got Rey, and we have got Kylo Ren. All right, so I'm not going to go through and show you all the cards, but you've got 2 sides to every card. So we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then on the other side, you've got more rules basically. So each character has its own separate rules. They have each character has its own attributes. And they're recorded on this little tracker. So all the dials spin round. So if you look at Obi-Wan, he starts with 4 strength. So strength is what you use to fight with. Will, he's got 4 will. And he has got 4 health. So we'll just go through. So strength is what you fight other characters and adversaries with. Will is like your force power, and there's various to do encounters and things like that. And the main aim of the game is to kill the Emperor, who's sitting in the middle if you're on the light side, and if you're on the dark side, to sit beside him, earn the Emperor's respect and sit beside him. Health, if you go to 0, you're dead. Start again, pick another character, start again. So it's a race to the middle, basically, of the board. And there you go. So that's how Obi-Wan looks. He's there. So every time you lose a battle, your health clicks down by 1. So it's quite simple, really. When we look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I was saying about different things they've got. So he starts the game with 2 Light Force skills cards. He also, if he fights against Darth Maul, he adds 2 to his strength, which is pretty good if somebody else is playing as Maul. So it's up to 6 players, this one, 2 to 6 players. Whenever another character arrives on your space, you may discard 1 destiny token to move directly to Tatooine. So there's different planets all around the board. We'll show you that in a minute. But there are galactic credits, which you use to buy things, and also destiny tokens, which is like luck. So if you roll the dice, it can be for movement, to fight, or however you're doing it. You can spend a destiny token, re-roll 1 dice, and that's it. So that's pretty cool. When a character gets disorientated, you turn the card over, and then there's another set of rules you take your turn by. So we have a nice shiny rule book, full colour, which for Games Workshop is a new thing. But on the back, there's a nice flow chart of how to play the game, like for your turn, which is really, really handy. We get loads and loads of cards in here. So like we were saying, pick 2 force cards. So you've got Force Pull, Force Vision, Levitation, Force Projection, Force Sense, and Force Heal. So he starts with 2 of those. The dark side characters obviously are using a different deck. So they've got Force Push, Force Freeze, Force Drain, Force Lightning, Mind Probe, and Force Choke. And these are all sort of like standard playing card size. Whereas a lot of games now come with the mini cards for add-ons. And you've also got neutral force abilities: telekinesis, mind trick, force bomb training, force energy transfer, and force jump. So there's 3 stacks of those. I'm going to get them out of the way and put them in the box. And we have wayfinders. So quite a lot of the things you need to get to Exegol, which is the centre square where the Emperor is, you need a Sith wayfinder. So you get 4. There's 4 of these cards, and I believe there's some more in the rest of the deck as well. We also have market cards, which are things you can pick up. So there's many cards. So remember, this is only £60, and then we have the encounter card. So as you go around, you roll to go between different squares on the board, which are all very nicely done up. Artwork and everything, it's brilliant. But you encounter different, even more cards. So we've got a Porg there, Minoc, a Dewback. They have a bit of writing there, which you follow the writing, and then you do their strength. So like that adversary strength is 3, so Obi-Wan's at 4, so he's got a 1-point lead on a battle if you're going to battle them. There's all sorts of stuff in there. Then you've got light side encounter cards. These are all shuffled up, these ones, and which if you're light side, you can take these along. They can join your little party. So if you remember, like in Star Wars A New Hope, you can end up with the rest of it. If you're playing as Luke, you could pretty much end up with Chewbacca on your side. That's really got to be really handy in a fight. So, and you can fight these specific characters as well. If you land on the same square, you've got a choice. You can fight the character that's there, and then once you've fought them, you can then fight their other characters to beat them back a bit and get you ahead in the game. There's dark side ones as well. I'm showing you loads and loads of cards. There is a lot of cards here. Then you've got equipment you can pick up from landing on squares. And then there's different events. So if I read that first one, faulty Navi computer. Your Navi computer shorts out and throws you off course. Roll a die to see where you wind up. 1 Dathomir, 2 Tatooine, 3 Coruscant, 4 Hoth, 5 Endor, and 6 Utapu. So if you imagine that, you've got almost to the centre of the board, you pick one of them up and you end up all the way back to the outer ring. But we'll get to that more in a minute. And then you've got a marketplace where you get a marketplace and you can buy things to enhance your character. So it's a lot of role play sort of feel to the board game, which is really, really good. So I'm just going to tidy the board up a bit and we'll have a little play round a couple of squares. And I'm just going to use Obi-Wan because he's the easiest one to look at. I don't know how he works in the game. I'm not telling you Obi-Wan is the best, but he's the one that everybody really knows. So I'm going to start with him. You get 6 dice, and they're marbled dice as well. They're not just standard board game from the 70s dice. They actually look quite nice. So roll 1 dice. Got 3. Oh, it tells you on here where you start as well. Starts on Geonosis. So let's use the Obi-Wan. Find Geonosis on the deck. There we go. Always going to be the last space I'm looking at. There we go. So it starts on Geonosis. I've rolled a 3. So you can travel either way around the board. So I could go 1, 2, 3, end up on Coruscant, heading toward, because I want to head towards Kessel to get through into the inner circle. I can go 1, 2, 3, open space. Oh, that sounds a bit boring. So 1, 2, 3, I end up on Coruscant. So there is a indication there of what happens. There's a card, you either get card symbol or a dice symbol. So I've got a card symbol, so I would get a random card from the encounter deck, but I've split them all up, weirdly enough. So I'm just going to pick a random event from the event deck. So it says, if there is no card here at the end of your turn, you may gain 1 health or draw a Force skill card. That's pretty good. So at the end of this turn, if this card is still there, or if he's used that card, he can gain another skill. So, raided by the crime syndicate. Enforcers from a crime syndicate raid your ship and steal all of your galactic credits. They immediately stash the galactic credits at Yavin 4. Place all the galactic credits there and then vanish into another system. So the pirates vanish into another system. The next player who arrives there may take all the galactic credits. Oh my God, can you imagine that? You've stored up loads of galactic credits. Yavin 4. Whereabouts is that? Crikey, where is it? Yavin 4's on the inner circle. That's there. So that's miles away. So straight away, that's the first part of the game. Boom. There's a bonus for getting through to that square. So you can roll either way round the thing until you're powerful enough to travel through from Mandalore to Kessel. So when you get to Mandalore, it depends on whether you're light side or dark side. If you're light aligned, you can help clan crews liberate their homeland, battle against a strength of 5. If you're dark aligned, help the Shadow Collective gain control over the world, battle against a will of 5. If you lose the battle, you do not lose health, but your turn ends to get through Mandalore. So you have to build up your power to get to the next level and then build up to get to the next level. When you get to the inner circle, you can either go, if you're dark side, you go one way round there. If you're light side, you go the other way round before you can then battle the Emperor. So there's a lot to look at in this game. And in some instances, the game can last for hours. And when you're fighting against the Emperor, he has a will of 10. So you're starting with, say, like we're looking at Obi-Wan, he's only got a 4 will. So you need to go on and encounter lots of different things in order to progress. You've got to beat something near 10 to actually do it with all your little gaming party. Now, the game states at the start of the game, the youngest player chooses what character they want to play with, and then it progresses from there. So the old person gets left with, well, you've still got a choice of 7 characters. But what if it's not balanced? Say you've got 4 players who've chosen dark side and only 2 players who've chosen light side. Well, the game kind of settles itself out, because if you've got more players darker lines than you have light, and vice versa, those dark players are going to be chasing each other around for the dark side upgrades. So it pays for your game level to balance out, so that you go, right, okay, I'm playing light side. What, who else is going to do this? And then then you can also play as a team. So you can have a team match. So that is basically it. It's really, really good. You can travel back through from the inner to the outer and that, and hopefully we get hopefully this is really popular and we get an expansion for it. In other Talisman expansions, that mainly fantasy based, they tend to add expansion rings around the outside of the first board. But this board is absolutely huge, really good high quality board. Every square has got really good artwork on, so you can see where they've spent a lot, commissioning artists to actually draw out all these different planets and everything. Really, really good. So I'm looking forward to playing it. Hopefully people are interested that it's going to be a bigger thing and we can get an expansion to it. So that's it for this show. Thank you for watching. This is the way. Mandos, Mandos.